Professor George Fitzgerald Smoot, sorry for the voice, Nobel Prize winner in Physics 2006, Mr. Uwe Morawetz, founding chairman of the International Peace Foundation, and members of the team, members of the management committee, and members of the Senate, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon. On behalf of Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Professor George Fitzgerald Smoot, a well-known astrophysicist and a cosmologist to our university. He will be delivering a special lecture entitled Contemplating the Birth of the Universe, in conjunction with the Bridges Dialogues Towards a Culture of Peace. As all of us are aware, Professor Smoot was awarded the 2006 Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of the black body form and anisotropy of the cosmic microwave background radiation. We are indeed honored to have you, Professor Smoot, with us, and we look forward for him to share his vast experience and ideas, especially in the area of cosmology. This dialogue session is one of the benefits received by PETRONAS as a gold sponsor worth $125,000 for Bridges Dialogues Towards a Culture of Peace program organized by the International Peace Foundation. Through this Nobel program, the foundation is bringing Nobel laureates for economics, peace, physics, chemistry, medicine, and other illustrious speakers to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, in this university, we conduct similar events such as this, which is known as the UTP Public Lecture Series. And UTP has been organizing this public lecture series since 1998, and since then has invited many prominent speakers locally and abroad. I believe sessions such as this, and also the lecture series, are valuable platforms for knowledge sharing between the speakers and the university community on various topics and issues. The invaluable experience and insights that can be obtained from these sessions complement and enhance what the students gain within the classroom and formal education. And as for the lecturers and staff, sessions such as these provide the much-needed perspective on national and global issues. It is also hoped that such sessions will encourage better understanding of ourselves, our society, and our civilization. I would not want to take away Professor Smoot's time, but I want to emphasize the relevance of his topic to us all. It is indeed incumbent upon us as human beings and as the creation of God to know our origins. And knowledge of our origins demands us to transcend traditional areas and disciplines. We have to move beyond the orthodoxy of science, physics, and mathematics. And many scientists in the modern and early modern era, as well as in the Islamic era, were also artists in their own right. Werner Heisenberg, a physicist philosopher in the 1930s, also played the piano. He was an excellent pianist who could also recite huge tracts of the Goethe. It was Heisenberg who strongly protested on narrow empiricism in science. For example, he took the view that we should stop trying to visualize what goes on inside an atom, as it is impossible to observe directly something so small. What we observe is much dependent upon our method of observation. It is similar, I assume, in studying the cosmos. The origins of the universe falls under the realm of cosmology. I would imagine that Professor Smoot would take us on a journey of the universe, its past and the future, and the Big Bang, perhaps also the Big Crunch. Cosmology goes back to the science of earlier civilization, as in the Greek, Egyptian, Hindu, Chinese, and Muslim civilizations, and not forgetting Babylon and Mesopotamia. Since then, man has thought and reflected upon the universe. In the modern age, we come across scientists like Galileo, Newton, Einstein, and Friedman, among others. And among modern Muslim thinkers and philosophers such as Biauzaman, Said Nursi, Said Hussein Nas, Al-Khawarizmi, Al-Farazi, and Al-Farghami, are instrumental in bringing another understanding of the universe. Their success was driven by the desire to understand the universe and the general quest for new knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Professor George Smoot, and Mr. Morawetz, the founding chairman, and their team for being with us today. I would also like to record my appreciation to all of you for making time to be present with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Dato'. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now invite Mr. Uwe Morawetz, Chairman of the International Peace Foundation, to be on stage for the introduction of the second Asian event series, Bridges Dialogues Towards a Culture of Peace.
Welcome to the second ASEAN event series, Bridges Dialogues Towards a Culture of Peace. Bridges is facilitated by the International Peace Foundation, a non-political and non-religious foundation under the patronage of 21 Nobel Peace Prize laureates based in Vienna. The events are hosted in cooperation with various local partners, including the country's major universities, and I thank the Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS and its rector, Dr. Zainal Abidin Haj Qasim, for hosting our event today. Since November 2008, Bridges is being continuously held in Malaysia and Thailand until April 2009, involving the participation of Nobel laureates from all fields. The second ASEAN series of Bridges is an independent contribution to the United Nations Decade for a Culture of Peace and Nonviolence, initiated by the United Nations General Assembly. It follows a series of 300 Bridges events which the International Peace Foundation has already hosted in Thailand and the Philippines since 2003. 35 Nobel laureates, as well as 13 other keynote speakers and artists, such as Dr. Hans Blix, Dame Anita Roddick, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Vanessa May, Jesse Norman, and Dr. James Wolfenson, participated in these events. In Thailand, they were presided over by Her Majesty Queen Sirikit and Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Maha Chakri Sirinthorn, and reached an audience of 90,000 participants. As peace cannot be achieved instantly, but is a process which needs time, Bridges has not been organized as a single conference, but as an ongoing series of events in which Nobel laureates and international decision makers have built strong bridges with leaders in all parts of society and with the general public. With the basis for peace being education and synergies being the fruit of cooperation, the International Peace Foundation has not realized Bridges alone, but has carried out the program together with UNESCO and 88 other national and international institutions, including 33 major universities and schools. The multidisciplinary and pluralistic approach of Bridges in Thailand and the Philippines, and of the events now in Malaysia, reflects that peace involves all parts of society. It involves awareness and social responsibility of politicians, the business community, scientists, artists, and the media. And since peace within ourselves, our families, and our environment starts in our minds and hearts, it involves every one of us. In this sense, Bridges challenges us to cross borders and to build bridges by listening and opening up to other viewpoints, by generating new thoughts, by developing innovative forms of cooperation, and by fulfilling the desire of everyone to get to know and to learn from each other. This can lead us to a world in which we will be able to understand each other and the complexities we face today in a new light. A globalized world needs broad strategies for change to secure a sustainable future for us and the next generations. Let us be inspired by the knowledge and the wisdom that Bridges continues to offer, an opportunity to get a more inclusive, interconnected, and comprehensive view of ourselves and the world in which we live, in which we are able to create anew constantly through dialogues towards a culture of peace which needs the participation of everyone. I thank Professor George Smoot, the 2006 Nobel Laureate for Physics, who has agreed to come to Malaysia to support the events. We now look forward to his keynote speech and to his important contribution to build bridges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Uwe Morawetz. Ladies and gentlemen, before we invite our honorable speaker on stage, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor George Fitzgerald Smoot is the director of the Berkeley Center for Cosmological Physics, who was awarded the 2006 Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of the black body form and anisotropy of the cosmic microwave background radiation. He is responsible for the best picture of the early universe. Called the discovery of the century, if not of all time, by Stephen Hawking, Professor Smoot's discovery has, for the first time, given theorists hard data to use in determining the mechanism of the creation of the universe. Professor Smoot received bachelor degrees in mathematics and physics in 1966 and a PhD in physics from MIT in 1970. He has been at the University of California, Berkeley National Laboratory since 1970 and is the author of more than 200 science papers and of the popularized scientific book, Wrinkles in Time, that elucidates cosmology and the Colbert discovery. A professor of physics at the University of California at Berkeley, his honors include the NASA Medal for Exceptional Science Achievement, the Kilby Award, the Lawrence Award, and the Einstein Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor George Fitzgerald Smoot.
Good afternoon, Rector Zeinen, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor and pleasure to be here at the University of Technology PETRONAS and to try and get my talk organized and started. I'm going to give you the short version of the talk so that there's time for you to ask questions and we can actually have a discussion and a dialogue. And so I thought I would give you a summary of roughly where we are in our program to understand the universe from its creation up to the present day and what we might learn about the future. So what we do is we investigate the scene around us and we look at the relics of the beginning of the universe and what's happened since then, and we try and make sense out of it. And I'll explain to you some of the results we have and what we've done. Okay, so the first picture comes from the fact that we build tools, and we started building tools long ago to look at the sky. And in fact, you can trace astronomy back very, very far to the Babylonians, but also to ancient Muslim culture when Al-Mamun made the first pair of observatories, and then to Galileo and to Newton and to more modern astronomers. And now we have special tools and observations that allow us to learn a lot about the universe around us. So the first picture I want to show you is from the Hubble Space Telescope. It's a deep exposure that is chosen to be sort of a blank spot in the sky. And there's no spot in the sky that's blank. That when you look out at the sky, you see a lot of interesting objects. And in this picture, if we can turn the lights down in the front, you can see it more clearly. In this picture, it's notable that what you can see are 4 stars. There's a star here, 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 and here. And everything else, the more than 2,000 objects that are in this picture, are galaxies. That is, collections of many stars. And for example, this is a galaxy very much like our own. It's a spiral galaxy, and it has something on the order of 100 billion stars in it, pretty much the same as our own galaxy. And it's spiral, very much like the galaxy we live in. And when I look at this picture,